Welcome to UB Reactions, the place where we keep it real. Today, we've got some hot topics, so let's jump right in.
Yeah. You be in the building. Hey, vibe with Uncle Bino. Let's go.
All right. Welcome back. Okay, let me quickly clear these two Baba before we dive to the more important one. Like I said at the beginning of this show, I am not here to drag anybody. I'm not here to drag Baba Oyedepo or Baba Abioye. I'm only interested in the lessons we can derive from what happened between both of them. I'm not interested in judging any one of them. Like I've said, these are two men of God. These are fathers that we can literally tell their story. We saw their ministry. We grew up seeing them grow to become who they are today. But something happened between both of them. I think last year, Uncle Dayo, you have to stay with me on this one in case if I'm missing anything. So I think one time last year, all of a sudden we heard that Baba Abioye has been retired from, what did they call Oyedepo Church? Winners. He has retired from Winners. A lot of rumor, a lot of information came out of that. Some people were angry. Some are like, it was somehow messy. And people who have spoken, some pastors came out, they talk. Many bloggers reacted to their situation. And people point out whatever they got going on in that ministry. I am not interested in it. The reason I'm not interested in it is because I am not a member of Winner in the first place. I've always have respect for Winners and all the church members. I love what they are doing, how they carry themselves. So I am not interested in the gossip of what went down between both of them. What I am interested in is Baba Abioye. He was retired and he started all over again. That's where I'm going. He starts from, can I say, from the grassroots all over again. At his age. Okudayo, I will need you to help me tell just a quick biblical story once I finish my monologue, just to make it make sense. And the story I need you to help us with is this. I think Uncle Patrick is busy, but I know many people will know this story. Elijah and Elisha, Uncle Dayo, that's where I will need you. In the Bible, I don't even know who is the Oga, who is the follower, but the story of Elijah and Elisha is something similar to Baba Oyedepo and Baba Abioye. One was serving one. Uncle Dayo, which one was serving the other? Is it Elijah that is the senior or Elisha? I think it's Elijah. Is Uncle Dayo here?
I said Elijah was the senior. Sorry, I was muted. Elijah was the senior. Elisha was the one that took over from him.
Okay, Elisha took over from Elijah. All right. And I brought those two into this conversation for us to understand what I think went down between these two. Pastor Abioye, from what I learned from the story I've heard, I can't confirm how true it is, but Pastor Abioye and and Reverend Oyedepo, they were in this journey together. Reverend Oyedepo was the one who received the message and he called Baba Abioye. And Baba Abioye had been deputizing for him all these years. From where they started, for those who don't know, the Canaan land you have in Ogun State now, that was not where he started, though. Abion Kudayo. That was not where he started, though. I think they started somewhere around the northern part of the country.
I think they started around Ilorin or maybe Kaduna, but I know that they were in Kaduna and then they were also in Ilorin, but I cannot see where they really started first from.
Okay. But when people get to know Baba very well is when they build Ota, that Canaan land in Ota now. That's
Yes,
when
sir.
me I begin to hear about them anyway. But that is not where I'm going. Where I'm going is that Baba Abioye was a very loyal servant, a loyal disciple to Baba Oyedepo. And both of them built a ministry that has now become known worldwide. A ministry that now can boast of millions of followers all over the world. That ministry is rich. Owowa. And the members of this ministry, they are well known. We have governors, even some politicians, many people, captain of industry, they worship in Winners Assembly. But that's still not the story. The story was last year, Winners retired some of their pastors, and Baba Abioye was one of them. From the body language of the members of the church, those who want to be honest, it seems like it was a kind of forced retirement. But the lesson is, Baba Abioye had never came out to address the press or to say anything negative about Baba Oyedepo. And to Baba Oyedepo's credit, I don't know, maybe people heard it anywhere else. Baba Oyedepo also did not come out to drag Abioye or say anything negative about him. But we can tell that something is not right. And why? After Baba Abioye left and started his own ministry, I have not seen Baba Oyedepo anywhere around that ministry. Maybe I'm wrong. If you have seen it, please drop it in the chat. But me, I have not seen him anywhere around that ministry, and I have not seen him publicly supporting Baba Abioye. What are the lessons here? Last Sunday, the video I'm going to show you right now was trending because Baba Abioye, having started all over again, now built his own church auditorium. And I think they had their first service this past Sunday. Please, somebody correct me. Maybe not me just get to know this past Sunday, but I thought their first service was yesterday in this auditorium. From starting all over again from nothing, this Baba has now built something significant, a house of worship. And you can tell from the video you are seeing on my screen, you can tell, say, this is a multi-million naira church auditorium. Yet, Baba Abioye did all of this without dragging his former Oga in the Lord. He did all of this without crying and whining that at my age, where will I start from? I was there when we don't even have a car. We were walking. I am the one carrying his bag, moving up and down. I am the one doing boy. Now that the ministry has grown, has plenty, I was discarded like a nobody. Some people might even go all the way to sue Baba Oyedepo if truly he was let go the wrong way. But rather, Baba Abioye did not say anything publicly. I don't know, maybe he said things on that way, we don't know, but publicly, I do not hear nothing. Yet, he started and now he's growing big. And I can promise you, It's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, because from the service I watched yesterday, there seems to have a lot of pastors under him already. So finally, what are the lessons to take away from this? At times, people may treat you not fairly. At times, you may help somebody to grow their company, their home, their platform, their business, whatever. And it may turn out that you guys may part way on a very bad note. Choose your battle. You can start all over again. Presently, right now, there are people, some women build a home with their husband. The husband they met with nothing. They built from scratch. As soon as money don't come, the husband is now super rich. Some of them, their husband will begin to mess up. They will lead to divorce, and then they have to go and start all over again. There are some friends that are supporting their friends. They are spending their time and energy just to make sure their friends become successful. Friends become successful, finish, it discard them. My message to you is, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Just set your eyes on God. Start all over again. God will bless your effort. Wherever God is taking you to, you will definitely get there in Jesus' name. And disappointment is just like you pressing pause. When you are playing a video, those of us who grew up with VHS and tape, sometimes you are playing music or you are watching a movie. You want to go and do something, you don't want to miss it, you will press pause, the movie will stop. When you come back again, you press play, you continue. That is how you should see life. I've said something here on our platform many times. I said, for me, I'm a master of starting over. Yes, starting over can be painstaking. It can be really tough. It can be discouraging. It might seem like, not at this age. But trust me, sometimes God is taking you to places that is way and far better than where you are coming from. That's all I want us to take away from the relationship between Baba Oyedepo and, of course, Baba Abioye. If at this age, at the age of Baba Abioye, he can start all over and believe that God can still make things happen, how much more you and I that we are way younger? So whatever life throws at you, it is not the end. Always start over. I've encouraged people several times that even me, in my own personal life, I've lost count of how many times I've started over and over and over. What matters is where you are going. It's where you are going. If Baba Abioye have decided to sue Baba Oyedepo or begin to drag Baba Oyedepo, he might not be where he is right now. I don't know how they got money to build that auditorium, but one thing that I know that usually get grown and developed faster in this world is church. If you know the God you were serving and you stay consistent, God will send people to you. Resources will show up. So the millions they used to build this church auditorium, who knows? God might just put it in the mind of few individuals and say, you know what? This Baba Abioye has really tried. We know his story. He cannot be preaching in this small place. Let's get him a better place. And that church auditorium you are seeing is in Abuja on a massive acre of land. That's my take. Now, Uncle Dayo, just to help me make this make sense, can you help us just teach us a little bit on the relationship between Elijah and Elisha and how he applies to these two great men of God?
Okay, thank you very much. We were talking about Elijah and Elisha, and then trying to see how it applies to Bishop Oyedepo and Bishop Abioye. I would rather say this relationship could be best compared to the relationship between Abraham and Lot. his late brother's son,
Mm.
his nephew. Why do I say that? Because God always called a man for a ministry. God will always call a man. And then, if God calls a man and you decided to follow suit, believing in the free, maybe you believe in the vision of that man that God called and decided to team up with him to grow and to groom that vision to make it to become a reality. At some point in time, God's calling too may come to you. God may tell you, team up with this, my son, as his assistant, and continue to work with him. For whatever reason, for whatever purpose, as time goes on, and the first person that God called for the ministry, of course, if God called you, God will surely give you men and women that will work with you. And God will surely vindicate you. That's the ministry for you. God has never called anybody without equipping them for the call that has given them. He will always equip you. He will give you human resources, financial support, backings, and everything that you will need for your ministry to succeed. That's God for you. God doesn't call you and leave you alone. If you're truly called by God, He will supply your needs and bring people that will embrace that vision with you and they make it a reality. I think that's what happened to Papa Bishop Oyedepo. God called him to establish Winners Chapel, seeing the vision that it's going to be a big ministry. I don't know, maybe it was God that called Abioye to team up with him, or maybe it is Papa Oyedepo that asked him to team up with him. Either way it is, I don't know that. I don't know the history, I don't know the background, but I do know that they started off very, very early at the beginning of their ministry, and they have not grown the ministry to a certain stage. Whatever happened between them, that he now has to retire, Bishop Abioye, is still private as far as I can see. They have not come out openly to say this is the reason why he has to be retired with other pastors. But one thing that I do know is that nobody retires from God's work. It is God Himself that retires his soldiers. God Himself retires His soldiers. There's no like age limit to work with God. We have seen pastors in their 90s, close to 100, that are still strong and they're still preaching. When it's time for God to call them home, He will call them home. But it came as a surprise when we heard that all of a sudden Bishop Abioye has been retired, and we're like, in fact, that word retired make it sound strange, because God doesn't retire His pastors. Once He's done with you, He's done with you. When Apostle Paul was about to be offered, when he was about to be killed, he said, I've run the race, I finished my course, and behold, a crown is waiting for me. Christianity is a journey that until you leave this world, you are still on that journey until God calls you home. But in these days that we have pastors now appointing and disappointing themselves, if a pastor calls you to become a pastor, he can fire you and he can disappoint you, he can reappoint you, whatever, because it wasn't that called you, not God that called you. But if God called you to be a pastor, God will sustain you. But if a man calls you to be his pastor, he has every authority over you. He can fire you and disappoint you and refire you, whatever. So we have to understand that. But that's not where I'm going. What I'm going is that genuinely, what happened now with Bishop Abioye shows that God called him also. So I believe with everything in me that God called Bishop Abioye also. Maybe at first to work with Bishop Oyedepo, maybe to help him to build his own ministry and see, God knows how to separate people when it's time for Him to use you, no matter where you are. And I give you an example. So I'm not surprised by what happened between him and Bishop Oyedepo. What happened was that, if you remember, when it was time when Abraham and Lot were together, God called Abraham. Let me quickly just use that story so that I can get the clearer picture. When God called Abraham, God did not call Lot, but Abraham took Lot and said that he should follow him. So they were going everywhere with God, because God just told Abraham that, come, I will take you to a place, to a city. where you shall take for an inheritance for yourself and for the generation to come after you. That you should, that going to show him a land. So he called his own nephew to join him, and they were going on the journey. But when it's time for God to separate Lot and Abraham, God caused a rift between Abraham's servant and Lot's servants, because both of them have grown so big, they have become so rich. They are rich in cattle, camels, and everything, gold, and you name it. They are so rich, and their servants have greatly increased to the point that no single land can contain both of them again. So when the rift occurred, Abraham now called us, say, it's not good for us to be fighting between ourselves. Why can't you look upon all the land, choose anywhere you want? If you go to the west, I'll go to the east. If you go to the north, I'll go to the south, so that there will not be any rift between us. So Lot now look towards the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, so that it is very, very good that there are a lot of vegetation there. So he now moved his family towards that side, and Abraham continued with his family to their journey. God caused that separation. That one happened. The same thing happened also when God wanted to use Barnabas and Paul in the Bible. God said, separate from me Barnabas and Paul for the work thereof is serve for them. So the apostle have to separate them and let them go on that mission. Then that was the first missionary journey. On the second missionary journey, they went again. But there was when God wanted to separate Paul from him, there was a rift between them over John Mark, because John Mark did not finish the last journey with them. But Barnabas wanted to take him with them. Now, what am I saying is that I don't want to belabor you too much. As per this issue of Pastor David Oyedepo and David Abioye, God himself caused that separation, so that he cannot establish Bishop Abioye to vindicate him that he has actually called him. And that vindication is what we saw yesterday with that church being inaugurated. It's all God's plans. It is not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It is just that God that caused it, so that he can be able to establish him also to reach out to people that he has called him to reach out to. So that's the way it is.
Thank you, Uncle Dio. Let me just take a couple comments and we'll round this up. Auntie Grace, you want to add anything? Abby, you want to add anything, Mama?
No,
I don't have anything to add, though.
Okay,
but I just want to believe that Nigerian Christianity is not like what we practice in the Bible. Looking at Elijah and Elijah, right? When Elijah was handing over to Elisha, what happened? He handed over the mantle to him. It's not like I'm breaking up and if you look at the crowd that Bishop Abioye has now, these are people who show allegiance to him. Majority of them are from that church where he broke up from. People who felt, why will this happen? It happened all the time in Nigeria. They break up, they form their own. People who are in their camp, they follow them. Because there are so many of them from where they are coming from. As far as I'm concerned, they are all doing it for their personal whatever. They don't have any other business to do. Could he have said, okay, I am out of this place. I'll continue to preach the word. Are you telling me that I will go into the world and preach the gospel and get people who doesn't know Christ to come to Christ are the people that followed him there? No. He saw for their pocket. Could he have gone into another business? He didn't know any other business. I'm sorry, Uncle Ben. It's up to them what they are doing.
All right, thank you, ma. Baby of the house, nothing, right?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this pastor. Sorry.
All right. No problem, Mama. Thank you. Just a few comments here. Let me see. All right, Michelle, how are you doing? Michelle Oberico, how are you? Michelle say, Baba Abioye, no small. Of course, yeah. Our faith said, you be in this day and age, church is a family business. I may be wrong, but maybe Bishop Oyedepo did that so that it would be easy for one of his sons to take over without any threat. Look at some churches. You have a point, my sister, But unfortunately, I just wanted to like focus on people starting over again. You know, when people think they treat you somehow, and maybe that will be the end of you, just look at yourself and say, never, this is not the end of me. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna grow all the way back up again. So that's just my reason for bringing them into our show today. First, on the other hand, maybe it was time for Bishop Oyedepo and Bishop Abioye to go their separate ways. Yeah, it looks like that. Sister Lola, our own beautiful Sister Lola said, lessons. This is a business for personal gain. I don't recall Jesus building structures to house people. He went around doing good. How are the monstrosities these men are building helping people? That's a very good one there. Mr. Allah say, wouldn't the money used to build this actually benefit people's lives? I'm with you too, my sister. Mr. Ashe said, I'm so happy for Bishop Abioye. He deserves every blessings. Thank you. Michelle said Bishop Abioye was also vocal about the building of the ark as well. Yeah. Hey, Peanuts, my lovely sister Yudi. Yudi said, we need to also consider the policy of the church. There are churches that have retirement as part of the plan, e.g. Methodist and Presbyterian. Staola say, what good is that building when you have people who are attending, suffering, and unable to feed properly or pay their hospital bills? I agree with you. Those are very, very valid points. Mr. say, I thank God for helping Bishop Abioye to have his own after how Oyedepo treated him and tried to humiliate him. These are deep conversation, but that's a conversation for another day. For today's show, I just want us to concentrate on starting over again. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter where you are right now. When God says it's time, it's time. Thank you very much. All right. Now, before we go to the final topic of the day, and that one I ain't gonna be boss. We're going to talk about Bashiru one more time. So, but before we do that, let's quickly do this.
Welcome to UB Reactions, the place where we keep it real. Today, we've got some hot topics, so let's jump right in.